Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Transformers Beast Wars, issue number 3, IDW Comic Review. Now, as you know, IDW eventually did their own continuity of Beast Wars that is meant to follow a different continuity from the TV series. And the cover has Nyx being wrapped up in webs, with Tarantulas planning something sinister. We have a story so far, and we're introduced where Megatron and Tarantulas have Nyx captured, and Megatron basically torturing her and saying, "Good evening, my dear, and welcome to the dark side. I am Megatron, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation, you and I." And so basically points out about what happened with the ship, and wondering how many Maximals survived. And Tarantulas is going to do the execution and torturing. And Nyx says, "Tarantulas, he's a vulture!" That's just one of the reasons I find him so useful. And of course Tarantulas says, "I'm an artist. But either way, you'll answer our questions there and there. Will be fine." And you can kind of tell Dinobot is disgusted with this and leaves off, but knows that this isn't right. And this is kind of much like the TV show version. Dinobot is going to end up joining the Maximals. So we're shown back at the Axelon, where Cheetle is worried about Nyx not coming back, but wants to go look for her. But Optimus reassures Cheetle, saying that she's done a lot of exploring, and this is the first time she has a flight mode. And of course Cheetle points out that they should go for a search party, but Primal reassures Cheetle that there's only 4 of them, and that they need to stay on the ship. And Optimus knows that Nyx can take care of herself. And you can tell Cheetle's not happy, and basically we also see how Optimus Primal asks Rhinox if he did the right thing, but points out that, "Is this the adventure you wanted?" Which he says, "Well, maybe a little bit." But you can tell Rhinox knows that this is an unknown world, and that they aren't for sure where she could be. So we see how Nyx has survived the torture, and Megatron pointing out that eventually, if it goes any longer, she'll eventually run out of juice. And Nyx says, "History barely remembers the original Megatron. It's never going to remember you." And you can tell Megatron's like, "How dare you?" And puts it up to the highest voltage, which ends up shocking her badly, leaving Dinobot shocked at what's going on. And Dinobot says, "Megatron, this is too much." "This is not your concern," but points out that this is dishonorable, and that this shouldn't happen. And of course Megatron says, "Insubordination." "She wasn't going to answer you anything." "Then she deserves to die. You would dare control my will?" "A worthy enemy deserves a respectful death." So after this, Tarantulas has another idea, which Megatron decides to reward Tarantulas by letting him use his new device. And pretty much Megatron lets Dinobot live and tells him to not let it happen again. So we see how Nyx wakes up to find out that it wasn't a dream. She tries to maximize, but finds out she can't, which is due to Tarantulas' device. And of course Nyx tries to use her guns, but to little to no effect, and saying, "You're not helping, computer!" and tries to flee and maximize the best she can while being blasted. And Skulk says, "Huh, you aren't going to take a shot too? Before she's dead, I think I will take a shot." And this is a moment where you can tell Dinobot plays the hero, and shows that he respects Nyx as a hero. And Megatron isn't happy, saying, Fail me once, Dinobot, shame on you. Fail me twice. Predacons, destroy him!
That prototype was one of a kind. You destroyed my baby. Your baby was an abomination.
And so mainly takes down the Predacons, but has to deal with Waspinator, Scorponok, and Terrasol, which he takes them down single-handedly. And Skook tries to sort of take on Dinobot, but Dinobot knows that Skook isn't evil and actually needs to join the right side. But says, I don't abandon others. They didn't abandon me.
They would never abandon someone who is useful.
So after this, Dinobot transforms back, with Megatron planning to destroy him as he knew what the mission was, but Dinobot realizing that Megatron doesn't care about anything but himself. And so mainly throws Skook back at Megatron and activates the locks, which traps them in the Predacon ship. And of course they try to FUD out, but have to wait until the computers come back on. And we see Megatron saying, I'm impressed with Dinobot's treachery. His execution was flawless, and so he points out that once they get out, they're going to execute Dinobot. And yeah, this is the story. So I think this issue is pretty good. I would say, unlike episode 1 and 2 in the cartoon series, this one has a bit more of a build-up for Dinobot for issue 3, where you can kind of tell he starts to see that Megatron and the others don't respect his views, and respects Nyx as a warrior, so we might get a possible relationship with the two. So I think this issue deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.